Hey, I'm Nathan Meunier, and welcome back to another Tips for Writers. Today I'm going to talk about something that might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but it's actually a mindset that's really useful to adopt if you're just getting started and you're kind of working to build your way up towards a long-term goal. And that's failing your way to success. And I put failing in, chicken scratches there because it's really just part of the natural growth process for most writers. So the whole idea about success is that, everyone wants to get to this point where they're achieving their goals and doing what they want to do and being where they want to be in their writing career. But the thing with success is that it actually takes some work to pull off. You're not going to find, most people are not going to have instant success. And, with me, I've always worked really hard to kind of get to where I'm at, and I'm always constantly pushing, forward and trying to, find ways to level up my writing world and book writing world and just any kind of projects I'm working on. I'm always trying to find a way to get to the next level, and that's something that you have to work for. So, granted, maybe you put your first book out and it does well. That doesn't guarantee that every book you sell is going to do great. And, you're going to have ups and downs as you naturally go through the process of creating books, creating content, working your way up the ranks as a freelancer, whatever your writing world entails. So the thing about success is, it takes work, but one of the things you need to really be willing to do is to fail early and actually fail pretty often early on as you're getting started. So, granted, everyone wants to get those big wins right on the board, but the idea that, you're going to get things rolling like that right off the starting gates is not going to, it's not going to really pan out so much for the most part. You're lucky if you can have early wins, and the trick really is to kind of build on those as you go. But being willing to kind of dive in, just do it, and, see what happens is really important. And then, you'll learn from that and grow. And the other part of this is also to be bold and experiment as you go, try different things and then learn from the results. So, when I launched my first book, I had no clue whether, it would sell or not. So I took the time to do a little bit of research and, do some, testing to see what would happen and then decide, okay, I was going to proceed. But the thing about that is you really don't know until you just do something. So almost every single book I've launched since then has been an experiment. I've tried a lot of different types of topics that relate to writing and authorship and creative stuff. And some of them have done really well and some of them have not. So without trying out to see kind of what will happen and taking extensive notes as I go, I wouldn't know, the things I know today. And, I've been able to grow through the process. So you learn a lot by being willing to just try something different and see what happens. And if you accept the fact that you're probably not going to win every time when you try to do that, you'll have failures along the way. You can actually learn from those and gain really valuable insights for that. So the thing that's also kept me going throughout my writing career is to set both short-term and long-term goals. I've really found that, it's always good to have a bigger picture target to shoot for all the time. So I'm constantly working towards a bigger goal, but usually it takes a long time to hit those. I've been writing professionally for about 12 plus years, and, where I'm at today, I would never even dreamed I would have gotten to this point, 10 years ago. But I knew that, I wanted to get somewhere, and I set, bigger goals and worked towards them. But meanwhile, the way to kind of keep yourself with that forward momentum and feeling positive about what you're doing is to set more, shorter, reasonably attainable goals along the way. So as you're pushing forward, you're making small gains that make you feel good about what you're doing. And, you feel like, okay, this is a win. I'm maybe I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm going to keep working. And every time you make some sort of small progress, it feels great and it's encouraging and empowering. So you want to keep pushing forward. And that's, really important to set both those short-term goals so that you have something attainable on the short term to check off your to-do list, or whether it's, just, leveling up your creative world or, getting something done in a given day. And then as you go, you push towards your long-term goals, over the bigger term, and you'll find that will keep you moving forward in the direction you need to go. And, the final really important thing here about failing your way to success is to not give up. You don't want to, let the idea of, failing or not hitting, having things not pan out the way you want to totally consume you and, let yourself fall into a pit of like negativity. And it's hard to do. Like when you're a creative, if you're a freelancer, if you're an author, whenever you're creating something and putting it out into the world, like there's always a chance that people are not going to like it, or it's not going to sell, or it's not going to pan out in the way you wanted it to. And, rather than being, letting yourself be consumed by stress and frustration, which you have to give yourself permission to feel those emotions, if something doesn't work out, but then you got to dive right back in and learn from it and keep moving forward. So that's the whole idea of failing your way to success, and that every time you get a win, great, celebrate it and keep pushing forward. But when you falter, when something doesn't work out, use it as a learning experience and then keep building and growing as a writer and a creative person. Yeah, so that's been a big part of my sort of philosophy as I'm going forward. And I've certainly had lots of failures, but over time, I've been building on my successes and I feel pretty good about where I'm at. And I also have a long way to go to get to where I want to be personally. So yeah, if you enjoyed these videos, I'd super appreciate if you could take a minute to subscribe to the channel and go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know, like, what are some of your challenges? Like what have you been struggling with and how have you overcome them? Like I love to hear other writers' stories and chat about that kind of stuff. So feel free to weigh in. Thanks a bunch.